Thanks for joining us. I'm Adam Cooperstein. Another 500 New Yorkers have died from COVID-19. In any other time, that would be one thing only, tragic. But in the middle of this crisis, it's also evidence that New York may finally be past the peak. Governor Cuomo today reporting 507 New Yorkers have died from COVID-19 in the past 24 hours, and that is down more than 100 people since Friday. Also, the total amount of hospitalizations also continuing to drop. And Governor Cuomo today revealing the state's going to launch wide-scale antibody testing this week. He also wants to expand diagnostic testing, but the governor says they need federal support to do that. So here's where things stand now. In Connecticut, nearly 18,000 people have been diagnosed with COVID-19. That includes more than 1,100 deaths. In New Jersey, more than 85,000 have been diagnosed, with more than 4,200 people dead. And in New York, more than 242,000 people have tested positive. Nearly 14,000 people have now lost their lives during this pandemic there. Our team is covering every angle for you. We start with the breaking news from Midtown. Several people under quarantine at a hotel have died, and this happened at the Hilton Garden Inn on 37th between 8th and 9th. News 4's Checky Beckford is there. What happened here, Checky?
Hi, Adam. We know that 2 men died yesterday, according to a law enforcement source, and then another man died this morning here at the Hilton Garden Inn on West 37th Street. We're told that the 3 men, again, 3 men in total, 2 that died yesterday, 1 that died today. It's not clear if the victims' ages 42, 64, and 70 were positive or negative for the coronavirus, nor is their manner of death. City officials have said in past weeks that they were placing recovering patients, the homeless, and healthcare workers into vacant hotel rooms. Thursday, Mayor de Blasio talked about the ramping up of 11,000 more hotel rooms to use for quarantining those who live in overcrowded, multi-generational households.
There are many people in multi-generational homes, particularly in lower income communities, that just don't have a lot of space. And if there is a threat that someone might get infected in the home and it might spread amongst the members of that family, we have to guard against that.
Now, that initiative the mayor is speaking about set to begin on Wednesday. Now, we did reach out to the mayor's office about this particular case here with these 3 people who died at this hotel, but we have not heard back yet at this point. We're live in Midtown. Checky Beckford, News 4 New York.
Okay, Checky, thank you. Now, the other big headline tonight is about testing. Governor Cuomo says he's ready to ramp up testing in New York, and that could start with the test that's really critical if you want to restart our economy. News 4's Adam Harding live for us near Mount Sinai with the governor's plan on that front. Adam.
And Adam, we still don't know the timeline of when the economy will be reopened, but we know as more hospital sites like the one behind us continue to go up throughout the city and the state, we now know the number of hospitalizations appears to be on a downward trend. And now the governor is opening up about new plans to begin antibody testing. Those will begin in a matter of hours. Tonight, encouraging news from across the state in the fight against the novel coronavirus. The infection rate is slowing, but the state could soon see the full scope of the virus as it begins antibody testing in the coming days.
This will be the first true snapshot of what we're really dealing with.
Today, Governor Cuomo toured the Long Island testing lab, saying New York will begin what he calls the most aggressive statewide antibody survey in the country starting Monday. It will give a better picture of just how many were infected.
We're going to sample people in the state, thousands of people in the state, across the state, to find out if they had the antibodies. That will tell us, for the first time, what % of the population actually has had the coronavirus and is now, at least short-term, immune to the virus.
The governor says it appears New York is past the high point with hospitalizations down, but the death toll is still growing. State Supreme Court judge and former city councilman Noak Deer died early Sunday after contracting the coronavirus.
Just the idea that he's not here anymore? It can't be real.
Former State Assemblyman Dov Hikind was a longtime friend.
When it happens with someone that you know all your life, boy, does it have an effect on you. Boy, do you realize how serious you have to be about separating yourself from people. This is the new reality for the time being, and everyone out there, take it seriously.
And as for that testing that begins tomorrow, that antibody testing announced today by the governor, we understand that tomorrow some 3,000 tests will go out through that lab. Meantime, as other states prepare for a potential surge in coronavirus cases, New York is offering the assistance with those critical ventilators to states, including Massachusetts. We're live tonight in Harlem. I'm Adam Harding, News 4, New York.
Okay, step in the right direction. Adam, thank you. Well, the nice weather today made it really challenging for people to stay indoors. Here's a live look at Coney Island, one of several spots where people would normally spend a beautiful spring day like this. But city leaders are instead urging people to keep up that social distancing. News 4's Miles Miller shows us how the city is enforcing the rules.
9XL. Cops in Canarsie last night busting a raucous underground party inside the basement of this barbershop. 60 people defying the city's ban on large gatherings. A police helicopter overhead searching for those inside who ran away. All of them issued summonses, 2 arrested after cops found a gun.
It's not safe. I mean, you know you're not supposed to gather with more than 10 people, so 50 people sounds a little irresponsible.
At a news conference today, Mayor Bill de Blasio underscoring how dangerous the party was.
When people get together for a party, you know, one young person could be picking up that disease from another young person and bringing it home where their older relatives could be endangered.
In Central Park, plenty of people enjoying the spring weather, many running, others on the sheep meadow without face coverings.
The Parks Enforcement Patrol joining the effort to enforce social distancing. The city saying fines can range up to $1,000.
Among those who did cover their faces while walking through the park, Jorge Cimentel. He's a doctor treating COVID-19 patients, steps away at the field hospital.
We're going to have to get used to this until we know more about this virus, how it reproduces, how it mutates, and how it affects people. We probably should be doing this.
His message, if you don't want to wind up in the hospital, cover up to save lives. In Central Park, Miles Miller, News 4, New York.
It's an important message, Miles. Thank you. In New Jersey now, hospitalizations down for the 4th day in a row, but nearly 4,000 new cases of coronavirus were confirmed there today. State officials say more than 85,000 people have been infected. 132 new deaths were announced today, and that brings the total to 4,200 people lost. State data shows 40% of the people who died were living at long-term care facilities. Now, the Joint Task Force, comprised of leaders from Northeast states, has now appointed a council. Governor Cuomo announcing last week that New Jersey, Connecticut, and 4 other states will join New York to make a plan to reopen the region eventually. Each state selected 1 health expert and 1 economic development expert to join that group in addition to their chiefs of staff. The University of Connecticut opening its doors to recovering coronavirus patients in Stamford. The city says UConn will offer patients who are unable to isolate at home a place to stay on its Stamford campus. And to qualify for housing, patients should have already been seen by a doctor. The city health department also has to verify their eligibility. We are told UConn's isolation housing could become available as soon as tomorrow. And on Long Island this morning, a tribute to a fallen officer. This hospital salute, along with a line of duty death service, held for 52-year-old Sergeant Joseph Spinoza of the Sands Point Police Department. Sergeant Spinoza contracted COVID-19 while he was on duty, just months away from celebrating 20 years with the department. He is tragically the first officer to die in the line of duty there.